So our next poet up is Sandra McMillan. Sandra started writing poetry in her teenage years, then gave it up when she went to university English class and had the joy of poetry crushed right out of her. For years, Sandra stuck to technical and prose writing, and then, lucky for us, one day she found her way back to poetry. The universe knows best. All those years of technical writing came in handy in her first poetry class when she was asked to write a sestina, the hardest poem to write. Encouraged by instant success, Sandra has reunited with her poetic muse and has been gracing us with her poetic voice ever since. Here's Sandra.
Just a little too short. Yes. Thanks. So the first one I'm going to start with it goes with the season that we see outside right at the moment. It's called Warmth in Darkness. Grumpy, sleepy, resist hibernation, the cocooning from darkness's drag, buoyed up by silver bells and chestnuts, and the shining light of Christmas cheer. Thoughts of puffy pillows of snow, hot cocoa while skating on frozen ponds, childhood memories of perfect winters, short days made bright by warm merriment. And the next one is a language poem that I took 8 words from random in the dictionary and then tried to make them into a poem in 8 lines. And this is what happened. Past the stimulants for plumbing depths of nod, flying low over oceans of blithe passivity, deep. Long ago, impulses submerged foolhardy passions, lost soul. We're at an impasse, mountains of creative potential, worn to a pile of bricks by dispassion. Stupid qualification for less worry and smaller regrets. If the heart pursued logic that's less economical, tremors of artistry and zeal would burst dams. And the next one is it's a narrative poem, and I've dedicated it to my great-great-grandparents, whose story it actually is. It's called Family Tragedy on the Ship Manitoulin, May 1882. Parents and children crowd the rails, looking toward a new life, a brand new farm across the lake, new start for husband and wife. Steamship appears a splendid sight, with its largest ever load. Swarms of travelers pack the decks, part of the frantic show. Just hours into the fateful trip, as lunch is being served, cries of fire pass through the ship, fear shoots through every nerve. Captain races to the wheelhouse to run the ship for shore. Parents gather their children close, away from fire's hot roar. Lifeboats freed from latent moorings, terror seizes the mob, overcrowding the tiny lifeboat, wrenching it from the knob. Parents watch in spellbound horror, the lifeboat tip and spill. Smallest daughter lost to the water, a mother's scream most shrill. No time to stop, the ship hits shore, jump clear to survive. Destroyed by flames as survivors watch, most glad to be alive. But on the shore, a family stands in desperate loss and grief, not just their child, but all they own, lost in disbelief. This next one's a little more lighthearted, and it's inspired by construction and the fatigue resulting from it, specifically LRT construction. It's called construction fatigue, and it's a sestina. When is this construction ever going to end? Spending infinite time detouring around the block, barricades sprouting on my favorite routes, an orange obstacle course of lane closings. This endless building is driving me crazy, grinding me down till all that's left is fatigue. Perching on the edge of construction fatigue, reading the updates and praying for the end. But it's only the beginning of the infrastructure craze. All of it's required, so I don't want to block progress, yet I yearn for the finish to get close. And then the city fathers will dig up my alternate routes. Shifting patterns make me feel less rooted, longer commute times adding to my fatigue, when I just crave home with the door closed, a glass of wine, and a good book that doesn't end. Instead, another loop made around the block to avoid more traffic and the prospect of going crazy. More often now, drivers are acting a little crazed, both passive and aggressive. We plumb the roots of survival of the fittest with shifting roadblocks. But even the mildest suit may feel like donning fatigues, getting in a monster truck at day's end and driving over top the gridlock with eyes closed. So I shift my mind's eye and hold the end vision close, not caring if the whole world thinks I'm crazy. As long as I'm not driving when the lane ends, I'm fine. Just explore other nearby bus routes, reading and sleeping on the bus to ease my fatigue, then meditating as I walk home a few blocks. I figure it's a sane sort of mental block, saving my brain's anguish for the next street closure I encounter when in my car and fatigued, cursing the planners and flagmen in this crazy schedule we're obliged to support. But at the root, I'm just ready for the relentless construction to end. If only that end was so much closer, each block I crawl in traffic would feel less crazy, and I'd kill a major root of my construction fatigue. And the next one is my Obeyed, and it's called Dawn's Reality. Eyes, hands, and passion collide, heat into love most divine, deepest heaven where bliss abides, taste nectar of earth's finest wine. Muted bells from eons away sing their compelling tune, but passion withstands, it tempts to sway love's power under the moon. A burst of light, a gasp of air, bubbles of burst consciousness. Saving love's warmth, a heartfelt prayer must cling to the vanishing joy. But insistent bells toll the dawn, separating ardent lovers. Heaven's boundaries are restored, dispelling dreams' enchantment. And I'll just close with a couple of the cinquains that I had written. A couple of them were inspired by my trip to Ontario in the summer, or in September actually. Crickets, ceaseless, rowdy, chirping, hopping, singing, filling nighttime's silent stillness, country. Autumn, crisper, golden, changing, falling, blowing, nature's most glorious palette, endings. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.